It's Sunday, July 16th, 2023. A lot to talk about today. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Share this video and all my videos everywhere. It is so important and imperative that we continue to wake people up and get the message out there that we're heading into a very, very serious depression. Now, there's a few articles I was reading this morning and I jotted down some notes. And please feel free to comment down below. The comments are incredible. So many people that are so informed and have such great ideas and have woken up so many people. Please keep the comments going. They're so important. But I was reading an article today titled 15 Prepping Items That Will Disappear from Stores in 2023. Now, I don't know if they're going to disappear in 2023, but I do agree that a lot of these items we should all be stocking up on, and so many more. Please comment down below what you think we should be stocking up on. But number one on this list, water filters and purifiers. Yesterday I talked about the new water filtration system I have on top of the two Berkeys, Zero Water and two Berkeys. That's what I have currently. I think it's very, very important that everybody has a way to filter and purify water, because water is going to be one of the most important things. Toiletries. Number three, firewood. 4, fuel. 5, self-defense tools. Very, very important. You know, so many people make these type of videos, and all they do is talk about the financial aspect and having some toilet paper put away. That's not gonna cut it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real world, and all of us now at this point have to be walking the walk. This literally has to be a lifestyle now. And if you're not doing this, I really do feel that you're going to put yourself in jeopardy. Here's another one: baby supplies. Another one: gas containers, garbage bags, powdered milk, garden seeds, clothing repair kits, fire starters, you know, such as lighters and matches, bleach, very important, rain gear, and canning supplies. Now, a few things that I added. We could sit here all day and probably list 1,000 things, but make sure that if you have pets, that you have extra food for your pets. You got to have a trauma kit, ladies and gentlemen, a medical kit. You probably need a couple tourniquets in that kit. Think about if you got cut, if you suffered a laceration and you were bleeding out, you would be in very, very big trouble without a tourniquet, without a trauma kit. You're going to need gauze. You're going to need to be able to stop the bleeding till you get professional help. But you know, a $20 tourniquet could save your life. A good pair of boots. That is, to me, also very important. If you got to get up and go, if you're hitting terrain, whether it's urban or rural, you want a good pair of shoes, especially a good pair of boots. I wear Danner. I've also been wearing Salomon for probably 5 years. I got this pair probably 3-4 months ago. This shoe is so light, so breathable. This is, to me, one of the best shoes money can buy. They're not cheap, but super light. And if you had to hike 10 miles today, you'd be just fine in a pair of Salomons. But so important. Your foot is your foundation, so you need to have the proper gear. If you think you're going to run around in a pair of tennis shoes and have to deal with certain types of situations, I mean, that's probably better than nothing. But if you have the means, get yourself a good pair of shoes like Danner, like Salomon. There's a bunch of other ones out there. Something you can fight in, something you can run in, something that you can hike miles in, something that's going to allow your foot to breathe. Your feet get tore up, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. Another one I was thinking about today too are gloves. Get yourself a good pair of gloves. This is just a cheap pair of mechanics, but I use these at the range all the time. I've done a lot of tactical classes with these. When the ground gets extremely hot, like it is out here today, 121 degrees, if you had to deal with a situation and you had to get on the ground, you better have a pair of gloves. If you had to touch something hot, if you had to deal with broken glass, you got to have a pair of gloves. I don't know, $15, $20 for a pair of these. well worth the money, ladies and gentlemen. These are just little things that can make a big difference. Also, a good knife, good flashlight. Make sure you have extra ammo stocked up. Right now, as I'm looking for a property down south, and probably about 25% of the house is packed up and in storage right now. We're going to continue weekly to keep packing up and get things organized. But I want to be at a point where I find something that most of the house is packed up and ready to go. And I'm in the process right now of actually even looking at dogs. So I'm looking at dogs because I think dogs are a huge deterrent, especially on a large property. And right now I'm looking at Presa Canarios, big dog, intimidating dog, very powerful dog. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I've talked to some breeders. So right now I'm just getting all my ducks in a row for when we get out of here. But these are the things that most of this I have right now, except the dog. But I think if you have the means, if you can get yourself a good dog, you know, maybe a Malinois, Dutch Shepherd, KBV titled dog, that's fantastic. I don't really want a long-haired dog down south because it's so hot. You're dealing with ticks and bugs. So I need a short-haired dog. So I'm probably going to go with a Molosser breed type of dog, a big dog like a Presa Canario. But we'll see. There's some other ones out there too, Dogos, Cane Corso. I've had a couple American Bulldogs that I used to run at Adler Horse Police Canine. They went through many of the police basics. One came from Europe, already Schutz title. Great dogs, but it's so hard to find a good one right now. So I'm probably, again, going to be looking at a Presa. But add to that list, ladies and gentlemen, what you would be adding to it right now. And there's probably, like I said, there's probably 1,000 things we could add to that list right now. But just offhand, those were a few things I wanted to add to that list. Yahoo Finance. Nearly half of Americans need credit cards to cover essential living expenses. This is all on Yahoo Finance. 33% of Americans believe it will take more than 2 years to pay off their credit card debt. 45% of Americans have taken on more credit card debt during the health crisis. Most Americans have missed at least one credit card payment. That coming from Yahoo Finance. And so while we continue to see these warning signs regarding the U.S. economy, people are telling you and I to go out and buy a house. This one from Fortune magazine, self-made real estate millionaire Barbara Corcoran says it's a good time to buy because home prices are going to explode when mortgage rates drop. How does she know mortgage rates are going to drop? When are they going to drop? And the question is, Barbara, what if they do not drop? Now, I know that she has a vested interest in this because she owns a lot of real estate. So it's important to her that the real estate market doesn't collapse or her empire collapses. But she believes that the Fed is going to pivot and that home prices are going to skyrocket. Again, what if the Fed doesn't pivot? What happens then? And of course, Dave Ramsey, another person who thinks it's a great time to buy. He just said this a couple weeks ago. It's a great time to buy a house. Now, if you break down the median price of a home right now, $436,000, average debt right now is $1,649. I think that's very, very low. I think people have, but that's monthly. That's the monthly nut that they have to crack right now. And I think that's very low. That's without a house payment. Now, you take a 30-year fixed rate, 7.5% on average. Some people are paying 8.5% right now. Your payment's around $3,400 a month just on the house. That's not including bills. That's not including utilities. That's not including your debt of $1,649. Think about the money you would have to make to do this. Now, people will say, well, you can buy now and you can refi later when rates come down. But that's impossible if you have no equity in the home. And remember, most people in the last year or two only put down about 6%, maybe 8% max. And these people that bought a house in the past year or two, if they were to sell their house, they forget that they're going to have to pay 8 to 9, maybe 10% in closing costs to sell that house. And so if you bought a house for $400,000, you have nearly $40,000 right off the bat in closing costs. So most people that bought a house in the last couple of years have no equity in their home right now. Many people are upside down. And I don't see rates coming down anytime soon. And what if the Fed says, hey, we're not going to lower rates. We're going to keep raising them, and we're going to hold them higher for longer, and we're going to smash the economy, and we're going to smash the housing market. Now, I believe that in order for things to get fixed, we have to see a collapse. The stock market has to collapse, the housing market has to collapse, or nobody is going to be able to afford any of this. Nobody's going to be able to afford to buy a home. So I think that the prices are so overvalued right now, and the bubbles are so big that it's so unsustainable that we have to see things collapse in order to really just get true valuations of the stock market, true valuations of the housing market. Things are so overvalued right now. Here's another one today from The Hedge. Auto insurers hit by worst crisis in 30 years since premiums skyrocketing. Allstate has jacked up car premiums by 40% in Georgia. Nationwide Mutual Insurance has increased insurance rates by 32% in California. State Farm has bumped up rates in New York 11%. I mean, think about the price of a new car, average right now, $48,000. Average payment, $735 a month. That's the average payment. And you're seeing insurance costs to insure these vehicles absolutely skyrocketing. And insurance rates on automobiles is going to continue to rise. Check this out. Year-over-year rates. This is for your auto insurance. It's risen 16.9% year-over-year nationwide. The average American is already paying a record price for an automobile, new and used. They're paying record interest rates to borrow the money to buy these vehicles. I don't know how much longer this can go on. Again, all this unsustainable. The average American is just being absolutely destroyed financially. They're squeezing every drop of blood out of the turnip here. Here's another one today from The Hedge. Shocking number. Rivian owner sees $42,000 repair bill for minor accident. Repairing EVs, apparently very, very expensive compared to a gas automobile. This $42,000 on this vehicle, this repair, is half the price that was paid for this vehicle. Insurance premiums are only going to skyrocket with the cost to repair these types of cars. I don't know who would buy a Rivian. I'm not at all attracted to the EV market whatsoever. How it's destroying the environment, the amount of mining that takes place in order to build these batteries. What do you do with these batteries when they're done? These cars are just a disaster in my opinion, but nobody ever talks about the repair of these cars. Nobody talks about the disposal of the batteries. Nobody talks about the destruction of the environment and all the mining to build the batteries. And then nobody talks about where the batteries are coming from and who's mining half the earth right now for these batteries. It's China, of course. And so it makes us even more dependent on them. But again, the skyrocketing cost to repair these cars is going to affect these insurance companies. So we're seeing auto insurance skyrocketing all over the country. And then, of course, the cost of cars in general, repairs, all this factors in. And, of course, crime also. People who are getting their cars broken into every day, catalytic converters being stolen, windows being stolen, auto theft is rampant. So these insurance companies are having a very, very difficult time keeping up with the cost of all this. Shifting gears here a little bit, very interesting article. Charles Schwab announces TD Ameritrade data breach. Tens of thousands of clients. They estimate around 55,000 clients could have been affected with this huge attack resulting from vulnerabilities found in MOVEit file transfer software. Now this happened a few days ago, but I wanted to bring it up today because think about how much of your wealth is sitting on a computer screen and the counterparty risk that people are taking because their money is sitting somewhere other than in their own hands. Now, I'm not saying close your accounts or anything like that, but think about how vulnerable so many people are right now to a glitch, to an attack. The vulnerability right now is very, very concerning in my opinion. But they say 55,000 people could have been affected by this. Think about one day if you woke up and everything was just shut off and you could not get into your account. What would you do? What if things just disappeared? Now, I know people would say that could never happen, but then, we look at what happened with FTX. We look at what happened with all these crypto exchanges. We've looked at what has happened to thousands of cryptos in general. They're gone. But how safe is your money? If you don't hold it, you don't own it. And I'm not saying to cash out all your money out of your investment accounts, but just think, again, about the vulnerabilities out there with computers and the technology. How safe are you really? And what would you do if you couldn't access your money? So I believe you should just be as diversified as possible. You have money in an account, but you have to make sure that you have some physical assets out of the system, physical cash out of the system that you can get to in a moment's notice. Here's another one today. CNBC, after $275 million crypto investment goes to zero. Sovereign Wealth Fund says it's avoiding industry for now. Temasek said that they're not looking to invest in crypto following a $275 million FTX loss. They're not comfortable. This is what they said. They're not comfortable investing in exchanges given the way things are right now. So I think that that's a word to the wise right there. Be careful where you're investing, where your money's being parked, where is it, who has it, what kind of accessibility do you have, and what if the lights go out? What if there is a cyber attack? How safe are you? Do you have physical assets and physical cash and barterable items that you can get to quickly if this all shuts down? The Hedge, Oakland eviction moratorium set to end today. Remember, this began back in March of 2020. Here we are, July 16, 2023, and now the evictions just begin. These homeowners, I feel sorry for these homeowners, these small landlords, because they did not get paid for over 3 years, and they're never going to recover their money. Their homes will probably be destroyed. These people had bills. They had to take care of their kids, their families. They had mortgages on their own homes, on the investment homes, and nobody even cared. Many landlords, I believe, will not re-rent. Many landlords are going to take those properties once they evict these tenants. They're going to sell them. And, this is just another example of stealing from hardworking Americans, allowing this theft to take place. They were completely defenseless. It does not matter what somebody thinks about landlords. We're talking about small mom and pop landlords that, these people signed an agreement with, a contract with, and promised to pay them. And many of these people, they could have paid them and they didn't. They just mooched off the system, bought a new car, didn't pay their rent, had a good time, and they were going to string this along as far as they could. And, there's people out there that, I get it, have a hard time, could not pay, but that doesn't make it right that you're taking advantage of somebody else's property that has bills also. Just does not make any sense to me whatsoever. I think some of these people should face criminal charges for what they did. Here's another one today. No fertilizers exported from Russia under grain deal. Where does Russia send most of its fertilizer? You guessed it, right here to America and Brazil. We also get a lot of fertilizer from Canada. So how is this going to play? How is this going to play out with the farmers here in America, our crops? I think we're getting droughts right now in the Midwest. I think I was reading something yesterday, Georgia peaches, huge shortage of Georgia peaches right now. The crops were just minimal. Oranges in Florida, minimal crops. So, we are reliant on other countries for fertilizer, ladies and gentlemen, like Russia, and they're not shipping any. So we'll see how that plays out. Comment down below about any of this. I want to know what you're thinking. And I want to finish with these last 3 articles as we shift into what's happening socially, why you better be paying attention when you're out, and just the collapse, a continued collapse of American society. Elderly man stabbed in the head with a sharp stick while walking on New York City street. This happened actually this morning. The gentleman was 82 years old, gets stabbed in the head with a stick. They did catch the suspect. He has been arrested. He's probably already out. But I mean, nobody even has respect for the elderly. Nobody has respect for your parents or your grandma or grandpa. They are fair game. Here's another one today. 8-year-old arrested for allegedly stealing car at gunpoint and leading authorities on a chase. Can you imagine this? An 8-year-old. This happened in Alabama, by the way, a couple days ago. He leads them on a chase, driving off with this car. 8 years old. Where are the parents, ladies and gentlemen? This is a complete breakdown of U.S. society, a complete collapse. You know, these people who said, oh, there's no Mad Max, JB. There's no Mad Max happening. Stop with the doom and gloom. We have 8-year-olds now stealing cars with carjacking cars, not just stealing, carjacking, using a weapon and stealing a car. 8 years old. This is unbelievable. If we would have heard about this 30 years ago, we would not believe it. Last one, Alabama woman who stopped to help toddler on highway was kidnapped and fought for her life. So there's not a whole lot on this story right now, but there are some things coming out that she fought for her life for the last 2 days. She saw a toddler on the side of the road, pulled over, and apparently this is just right now what we're being told. Apparently she was kidnapped, and her boyfriend said that she was fighting for her life. This is terrible. And it's another reminder that, you know, they believe it was just a ploy, putting the kid out there to kidnap a woman. Again, we don't know all the details yet. More will come out. But think about this. A little toddler walking on the side of the road. This lady pulls over to help, and then she's kidnapped. Don't be suckered for ploys. Never get out of your car. If you're a woman especially, you're on the side of the road, it's dark, even daytime. Don't get out of your car unless you have to. Call the police. Don't get out of your car. This is really scary. This is really scary. And luckily, this woman is alive, but this could happen to anybody. You got to be careful. There's some really sadistic people out there, and they're going to use every kind of trick to take your kids, to take you. So you got to be very, very cautious here. And this is, again, why we have to be paying attention to our environments, using situational awareness, why all your kids should be doing jujitsu, why everybody should be training, why you need to know how to use the proper tools for self-defense, why you should be at the range, why you should be getting in better physical shape, why you should be spending less time walking around with this in your face and paying attention to what's going on in your surroundings. I'm going to leave it there today. It is a blistering 121 degrees out here today, so I'll be staying in. We actually had the power shut down for a brief moment yesterday, but they want everybody here to drive an electric car. But our power got shut off yesterday, 117 degrees, but it was just for a short period of time. But could you imagine if 50, 60, 70, 80% of this state was driving electric vehicles? The power would still be off right now. So I don't get how they're going to make this even possible. They can't even keep the grid going right now the way it is. But I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share this video. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. God bless.